Welcome to a special episode of the Filmosophers Movie Talk Show. I'm Chris Bush.
And I'm Dean Slider, rumor has it.
And this is a special edition where we'll be talking movie recommendations. I'll begin with a recommendation for a 2018 Swedish film called Border, which is a mixture of fantasy, horror, romance, and mystery. It centers on a customs agent at an airport with a highly specialized sense of smell. She can smell guilt and fear, so that when passengers come through the terminal, past the customs station, ready to board, she can tell if they are hiding contraband. Very interesting setup. It turns into something else entirely. It goes very unexpected places. Fundamentally, for me, a movie about identity and self-acceptance. The central character, played by actress Eva Melander, is beset by doubt and self-loathing, but she learns something about herself which alters her sense of identity entirely and ultimately becomes liberated. And in philosophical terms, it's really, to me, it's the stripping away of false knowledge to reveal who we really are. It's really quite profound. It's one of the most unusual, interesting movies I've seen, and highly recommended. But it has a little blend of horror elements, not much, but it's very unusual film and highly recommended. That's called Border. Dean, what film did you want to recommend?
Well, first of all, I'm going to say I'm going to go see Border because I did not know that one before, and it sounds fascinating. I want to talk about a film currently streaming on, I forget, one of those streaming surfaces and/or streaming services, Apple or Netflix or something. The Father, with Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman. And if you're anything like me, you don't have to hear anything else. Come on, Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman, done. I'm there. But even better than that, Anthony Hopkins in what may be the performance of his life, and that is saying a lot. I mean, just a virtuoso deal. It's just incredible. I don't want to say too much about what happens. It's not much of a spoiler because we start getting the picture just a few minutes in that he's an aging guy. He's the father of the family. He lives alone, and he is starting to lose it. He's starting to slip into dementia. Okay. What's fascinating about the film, and in some ways it reminded me of a favorite film of mine, Memento, Christopher Nolan's first film and last good film, in my opinion. Memento, which, if you're not familiar with it, centers on a guy who has the form of amnesia where he remembers long term, but he can't form new memories. He has no short term memory. So he'll be in the middle of a conversation, can't remember how he got into it, what happened at the beginning. Fascinating film. And what's really fascinating about it is that the film runs backwards. We see a scene, then the next scene we see is what happened before that. Then the next scene we see is what happened before that. And what the effect of that is to put us in the shoes of the hero, that we are as confused as he is. Just as he doesn't know what's going on, how the hell he got there, we don't know either. So it experientially puts us there. Now, what this film, The Father, does is experientially puts us into his shoes. We, in very much more along the lines of someone who is starting to descend into dementia, we don't know what's real and what isn't, and what just happened and what didn't happen. But the way that that's done, I don't want to say anything about. I'll say this: watch the subtleties of set design. Watch for subtle changes in the set design, and then other stuff. And it's just, really don't miss it, and see it before anyone tells you much more about it.
Fantastic. Okay, well, one more film actually I want to recommend before we go. We have an upcoming show with actor Thomas Jane, and we delve deeply into one of his favorite films, which is 1955's Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum and Shelley Winters, directed by Charles Laughton. And this is an amazing fantasy, horror, mystery, noir film, one of the great, great films of the 50s. And I really recommend, if you haven't seen it, or you have, watch it again, so that you're really prepared when you watch our Thomas Jane episode to get the most out of that discussion. Dean, anything you want to add to that?
All is well.
All right. Thanks for joining us on this episode. We'll see you next time.